happened? Hey!
Good morning, everyone. Andy Hall. We're doing a morning show. Are there any cats in this show? I was looking at what we're doing today, and we're very thin on cats, unfortunately, because this is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. But we do have stories. We do have fun. We have all types of things. We're covering a $350,000 settlement a city has to pay because of police brutality. Youth pastor, you guess the state. Chat, you can guess the state. It's that state. It's the state you're thinking of right now. Drug costs and Mike Lindell. If we get around to it, we have a video to check out too. And of course, we have funny videos, which I'm going to start up right now. I'm just going to do a funny video. It's Monday. Monday's hitting hard here. So let's see something funny.
What the hell happened? Hey!
Hey!
What the hell happened?
You broke it.
You broke the door?
Yeah.
Why did you break the door?
Because it was fun.
It's not fun. Give me that.
Hey!
Give me that. Stop it!
This is our turn.
I'm gonna tell.
This is our
I'm
turn.
gonna tell.
Our turn.
Give me that. Give me that.
Son of a biscuit.
Stop it.
This is the door to Sesame Street.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, how are you gonna pay to fix this?
Nothing.
We got money.
No, that's my money.
Give me the
We
money.
got money.
Give me the money.
No. It's my
Yeah,
money.
I need the money.
It's my money.
I'm gonna tell on you.
Fine. Don't tell anybody.
Okay, fix the door.
Oh, that makes Monday seem a little bit more palatable, doesn't it, everyone? All right, so I'm going to say hello to people in the chat, right? It's glad to see that you're here. Simply Secular Dave, glad that you're here this morning, sir. Blazing. Tobin's off doing breakfast from what I understand. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with the chatters. I don't know, chatters? That sounds stupid, Andy, but we'll go with chatters. Is that why isn't there a song called Atheism Doesn't Have Youth Pastors? I was just thinking about it, and Tobin Templeman being the musician extraordinaire, it's like we should work on this. Atheism doesn't have youth pastors. So I'm going to write down some lyrics, and we might be doing a collaboration. It looks like we're doing a collaboration. I'm looking forward to it. John Hudson, good morning, sir. Good morning. Lee, glad to see that you're here. Jessi Bear, glad to see that you're here. Jess M, good. The girlfriend, hey, I'm part of the anti-vaxxer movement, indeed. Scott Duke, brain bug, buzzing. Let's see, we should talk about, I think I got everyone. I hope I said hello to everyone. I just want to talk about what's been going on this channel over the last couple of days. First, I want to congratulate Harley Neville and Guy Pigden. They were on this channel. They're a bunch of New Zealand filmmakers. They've been in the game for a long time. And if you saw the interview that we did about their movie, small, independent movie, Older, I'm very happy that they've gotten 300,000 downloads or 300,000 views on their movie, Older. It's beautifully filmed, everyone. And if you remember the interview, if you saw the interview, it was filmed, I think, for under 10,000 New Zealand dollars. It's impressive. Last time I noticed, it was streaming on Amazon Prime. That's how I saw it, at least. So once again, congratulations to Harley Neville and Guy Pigden. They absolutely deserve the accolades, the awards, the praises for their movie Older. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, it's a beautiful movie. Let's see, what else? Oh, we chatted with Monica Miller. Monica Miller is the American Humanist Association's legal director. I dropped this video on Saturday. It's an hour-long conversation, and oh my fictitious God, we covered so many topics. We covered what cases she brought to the Supreme Court, like the U.S. Supreme Court. We talked about her work with animal rights. I learned stuff. And if you haven't seen this video, I dropped it on Saturday. Like I said, it's well worth your time. And last night was monkey business. I had a couple of local. I had a local filmmaker, Kevin Anderton, who I'm teaming up with to make a video next month, or to shoot a small comedy video next month. And I had Greg Sharon, who's actually rock and roll royalty. I didn't want to talk or ask him about his super famous brother, so we just kept to his music and Robert Clapp's music. The three of them, Kevin, Robert, and Greg, made a funny music video. And then we looked into Greg's work, Robert's work, shared some of their music. Exquisite stuff, everyone. Some real moving music, to tell you the truth. So that was last night on the Late Show, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So check it out. Check that if you have the time, right? I don't want to feel like I'm dominating your YouTube viewing hours, but my fictitious God, man. The Monica Miller conversation was great, as well as, I think, Monkey Business last night. I got to check out the chat before we go into memes. Kermit seemed like he was on bath salts. That's right, Jessi Bear. He did. Oh, congratulations with your tiny humans finishing school last week. Congratulations on that, Jessi Bear. Yeah, nothing but monkey business here, my friend. Nothing but monkey business. All right. So we're going to do memes before we start talking about police brutality. I think that's probably a good way. We gotta sweeten the bitter pill of the news cycle, right? So we'll do a few laughs. Let's do a few laughs. Internet hippo, big deal, Jesus. So your dad sent you here to suffer and die. That's what all the rest of us are doing too. I never really thought of it like that, but yeah, Jesus. Every dad basically sends their kid into the world to die, in some way of looking at it. And I know I've shared this before, everyone. I know I've shared this before, but still, it's really cool. There we go. You got the Trump still lost truck, the American flag, the Black Lives Matter flag, the LGBTQ flag. It's pretty awesome stuff. And last but not least, in terms of our memes this morning, surviving a global pandemic only to be absolutely fucking annihilated by some pollen. Oh my God, my eyes will start watering, my nose will start running, and I'm thinking, oh, yes, survived the apocalypse, got fully vaccinated, and now the pollen is basically throat punching me, with face punching me. Oh man! All right. Good day, Sammy. And I think I saw Rage up there too. I didn't say hello to Rage, but good morning, Sammy. So let's do news stories, everyone. $350,000 settlement offered in police takedown of wrong man. I'm going to get ahead of the story for a minute. Not only did the police physically abuse this man, but they just left him on the side of the road before the paramedics ever got there, before the EMTs ever got there. Once again, the city making a settlement for $350,000. So let's get into it. Savannah, Georgia. Did Sherman burn that city? I think he did. I think William Tecumseh Sherman, my favorite Civil War general, of course. And the thing is, when you look at Sherman, pictures of Sherman, he had red hair, and of course they had nothing but black and white photography. So if you could just imagine that guy just like raging with a head full of red hair, I think it would be terrifying back in 1864 when he's burning down Atlanta. But I digress. Maybe this is just a day of digressions, right? So Savannah, Georgia, officials of a Georgia city have offered $350,000 in the legal settlement to a black man injured last year when a police officer violently slammed him in the ground, later saying he mistakenly believed the man had an outstanding arrest warrant. The settlement proposal, approved Thursday by the Valdosta City Council, also would create a citizen review board to help oversee local police and make policy recommendations. There's a couple of silver linings as we get to be more aware of police brutality here in the States, of systemic racism in police departments, is that there is a small step towards citizen oversight of the police. Antonio Smith, 47, sued Valdosta police and other city officials in U.S. District Court a year ago, saying officers used excessive force and violated his rights. Body camera footage showed Smith talking cooperatively with a black police officer on February 8th, 2020, as a white officer crept up behind him, pinned Smith's hands behind his back, and slammed him face first to the ground. It's like a scene from Birth of a Nation. You know Birth of a Nation. If you haven't seen it, it's insane. D.W. Griffin, 1920s, I think, maybe, very early film. It's absolutely horrible. But if you haven't seen it, it's worth watching just to get a historical perspective on how the states treated black people at the turn of the early 20th century. Oh my God, you broke my wrist, Smith screamed on the recording as two more white Valdosta officers held him down and handcuffed him. When an officer told Smith he was being arrested on an outstanding warrant, another interjected that he was the wrong man. A spokeswoman, for Valdosta City Hall, Ashlyn Johnson, confirmed the settlement offer Friday. In exchange for $350,000 in creation of the Citizen Review Board, it says Smith will drop all claims in his lawsuit. Valdosta is in South Georgia, just north of the Florida state line. See, it wasn't in Florida, but it was near Florida. Nathaniel Hogbrook, one of Smith's attorneys, said Friday that he was still reviewing the proposal. I imagine at this point it will move at lightning speed in terms of resolution, said Hogbrook, adding that Smith wants to see all of this behind him. He said the creation of a citizen panel to help oversee the Valdosta Police Department had been Smith's top priority in the lawsuit. In a letter to city officials seeking a settlement before the lawsuit was filed, Smith's attorneys had also asked for $700,000. Filed 4 months after Smith's violent encounter with the police, the lawsuit came amid a national outcry over police brutality against people of color, sparked by the May 2020 killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. So instead of having to pay $700,000, the city would be paying $350,000 and creating a citizen oversight board. I don't know. I might want to take the money too. I might want to take the money and have the creation of the oversight board. But the gentleman seems just primarily to want the police oversight board. And kudos to him if he gets it. All right, checking out the chat. Cops are not above the law. And, you would think that, wouldn't you? You would think that the cops are not above the law. The link. Are we talking about the link to this story? I think they should be all links in the description. I think I was good about it this morning, everyone, about adding links to the story. Yeah, it's the link to this particular story is the first one in the description below. Let's see. All right. I think I'm caught up with everything in the chat. Here he goes, Rage. I don't get why it takes a lawsuit for the police to do something about bad eggs in their force. As a manager, if I didn't act on my employees' bad behavior, immediately my job would be in jeopardy. Yes, Rage. Police unions, entrenched political interests in the community, Republicans, back the blue, thin blue line, fascism, white supremacy. Yeah, in theory, if we lived in a rational world, it shouldn't take people getting slammed on city streets by cops for police departments to do the right thing. It shouldn't happen. Once again, I just want to say, too, that the cops left this guy hurt on the side of the road before the EMTs got there. They just left him. All right. What's up, Phil Lister? Hope you're doing well today. All right. Well, James Henry, this is an interesting point. If the cops lose a case or settle, it must be paid from the police budget and not taxpayers. It's an interesting point that somehow police departments need to suffer themselves for their misbehavior. And that's a really good point. That's a really good point, James Henry. I hadn't thought of it like that before. But you're right. If everyday citizens are the ones who are paying for police misconduct, that doesn't offer a disincentive for police bad behavior. One of your cooks is also a police officer. Wow. He does it part-time for extra cash. Interesting. All right. So first story, $350,000 settlement in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia. Looks like there's going to be a citizen oversight commission too. Are we going to talk about perv pastors, perv youth pastors? All right. I asked you all to guess which state this story is coming from about a perv youth pastor. If you guess Florida, right, then you're right. You're correct with that. Let's take a look at this story from Hemet Mehta, the friendly atheist. Florida pastor arrested for hiding camera in bathroom in church's youth hallway. Once again, I'm going to show you a picture of a guy, and you're going to say, yeah, he fits the role. He fits the part of being a perv. The latest addition to the list of perv youth pastors is David Nims of Calvary Baptist Church in Pensacola, Florida. Nims allegedly planted a camera to watch little boys. On Sunday, a 14-year-old boy noticed a camera under a sink in a bathroom in the youth hallway at the church. An arrest report said he told the church leader, who called the sheriff's office. Detectives reviewed the videos on the camera and discovered that the boy was recorded in the bathroom, the report said. Another video showed Nims retrieving the device from the sink of another bathroom, leading detectives to believe the camera could have been used in other locations as well, the report said. I see what you're doing there, Scott Duke. If you ever use a public restroom, especially in a church, do a sweep for cameras first. I think that's wise. I'm just not going to go to a church. I think I'm just not going to go to a church. If I don't go to a church, then maybe I don't have to worry about a youth pastor trying to look at my junk. But of course, I'm just going to say what everyone else is thinking. Youth pastors are probably looking for little boy junk, right? Not like middle-aged men stuff. The other church leaders appear to be cooperating with secular authorities on the investigation. They have not, however, said anything on social media about the arrest. Calvary Baptist Church pastor Walt Magaha, I'm going to go Magaha, told the News Journal on Tuesday that his congregation was saddened by the arrest. He declared to comment on the details of the case. We are grieved and saddened by the circumstances surrounding the arrest of David Nims, he said. We stand ready as a church to provide care and ministry to anyone or any victims who come forward as we are informed. Possibly, once again, these centers of abuse, these churches, they're like, sure, we'll help you after you've been victimized by this guy, by this person that we hired. We'll help you out. It's like, I don't know. Maybe the solution is not sending your kids to church. Maybe your solution is not to send your kid to CCD. Maybe that's the solution, because it seems as if pervs are attracted to positions where they have power and exposure to kids. And in churches, which aren't really transparent, are they? They're not really transparent organizations. Predators, that's just the natural place for predators, right? All right, check out the chat. See how the chat's doing. Yeah, it's odd. You know, it isn't for me. I've never thought feces was particularly titillating, but you know, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. John Hudson, Pervy McPerviton is what he likes to be called. Well said, John Hudson. Let's see. Hey, Theo. Good to see that you're here. Let's see. Well, this is it, Jessi Bear. Religion attracts predators like moths to the flame. Right. You know, it's a hierarchical structure. It's a patriarchal structure. It's a structure that doesn't have transparency. Of course, religion attracts predators, right? Well said. Well said. Let's see. Honestly, I don't use public restrooms for this reason, unless I have to. When you gotta go, you gotta go. But I've heard stories like this since I was a kid. Yeah, yeah. You know, okay. Wild Eden. Glad to see Wild Eden here. Good morning. All right, so what are we doing? Are we doing a halftime show? I think we're going to do a halftime show. As many of you know, these Monday morning shows can be rough for me because I do the late night show on Sunday night at 10:30 Eastern. And last night we did Monkey Business, which was all about music and a music video with some really talented people. So Monday mornings, it can be a slow day. And I think I'm still kind of in neutral. Well, let's do the halftime show, everyone.
Chickens aren't allowed to cross the road in Quitman, Georgia. I guess they couldn't afford another joke tracing its roots back to their town. Cause it's also the home of old James Pierpont, who wrote the winter cheer song, Jingle Bells, a tune that's known the world around. But after Jingle Bells came Batman Smells, the laughter soon began. Maybe they became afraid that more jokes based on their town might hurt the brand. I guess that's why the chicken thing has been completely banned. So why did chicken cross the road? I guess to stick it to the man.
I can get behind a chicken that crossed the road to stick it to the man. I can get behind that, everyone. All right, so on my cheat sheet, on my list of things to do and say here on the show, is that I should ask people to like the video. If you could like the video, that would be great. That would actually help spread the video around. The YouTube algorithm likes. And if you could subscribe, then that would be fantastic too. But at the least, please smash the like button if you like what we're doing here on the channel. Fantastic. All right, check out the chat one more time before we dive into the next news story. Can we start calling the halftime show the tummy rub because it's in the middle of the cat? That may not be bad branding. Simply Secular Dave. I like that idea. All right. So let's do the next story. What's the next story? Drugs. All right. Good news, bad news. Good news, bad news. What's the good news about drugs? One, there's a new Alzheimer's drug. Bad news. It doesn't cure Alzheimer's. Good news. It does limit the amount of plaque in your brain that's thought to cause Alzheimer's. Bad news. No one knows if lowering the amount of plaque in your brain actually slows Alzheimer's. And because this is the United States of America, there's more bad news. It's gonna be expensive as fuck. How much fuck is it worth? Let's see how much fuckery is involved with this new drug, everyone. Link in the description below, of course. Let's see, I have to scroll through the stories that we've done so far. I have to scroll through the $350,000 settlement, the Perv Pastor. And where are we? No, we're not at Mike Lindell, Andy. Where are we? We are at Medicare copays for new Alzheimer's drug could reach $11,500 annually. Let that sink into your gobs, everyone. The copay for the new Alzheimer's drug could reach $11,500 here in the States. Once again, no one knows for sure if the drug actually slows Alzheimer's. What's only known is that it slows plaque buildup in your brain. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of the story again. Let's just do this. Washington, a new $56,000 a year Alzheimer's drug would raise premiums broadly, and some patients who are prescribed the medication could face co-payments of about, holy crap, $11,500 annually, according to a research report published Thursday. The drug, called Aduhelm, I'll go with that, was approved by the FDA this week and quickly sparked controversy over its price tag and questionable benefits. It's the first Alzheimer's medication in nearly 20 years, though it doesn't cure the life-sapping neurological condition. The FDA determined that its ability to reduce clumps of plaque in the brain is likely to slow dementia. Likely. But many experts, including the agency's own advisors, say the benefit has not been clearly shown. On Thursday, a third member of an FDA advisory panel that opposed the drug resigned over the agency's decision. Last November, the 11-member group voted nearly unanimously against recommending approval for the medication, citing flaws and missing data in company studies. The FDA is not required to follow the group's advice. All right, so there's a Byzantine system here in the U.S. about drugs. You might find that surprising. So there's an advisory board for the FDA, which is not the FDA. And so the advisory board said, don't do this. And the FDA is like, we're doing it. And yes, there are documents that's basically saying the FDA going just like that, in those words. Dr. Aaron Kesselheim, a medical researcher at Harvard, said in a resignation letter obtained by the AP, by Associated Press, that the FDA's recent approval decisions would undermine public trust, medical innovation, and the affordability of the healthcare system. Earlier in the week, 2 expert neurologists also quit the panel. People are quitting over the FDA's decision on this, everyone. From the advisory panel, which is important. You know, actually, my girlfriend, who's much smarter than I am, explained what the FDA advisory panel is. It's important. It's important, and people are quitting the advisory panel over this decision. The Kaiser report estimated that if just 500,000 Medicare recipients are prescribed Aduhelm, it would cost the program nearly $29 billion a year, far more than any other medication. At this price, the cost of this one drug alone could top all others covered by Medicare if it is used widely, said Tricia Newman, co-author of the report. Medicare has not made a formal determination on covering Aduhelm, but cost traditionally does not enter such considerations. Drug maker Biogen has said it priced Aduhelm responsibly. Well, you know, if the drug maker says that it priced the drug reasonably, it has to be true, right? I mean, for all of you skeptics out there, doesn't that make sense? That if the person who made the thing you really, really need tells you, oh, this is priced correctly, even though it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, that seems reasonable, right? Beyond monthly premiums, there would also be impacts on out-of-pocket costs. Many patients taking the medication, including those signed up in Medicare Advantage plans from private insurers, could face thousands of dollars in co-payments. The maximum could reach about 11,500, researchers estimated. The upper bound cost out of patients' budgets would translate to nearly 40% of the $29,650 estimated median income for Medicare beneficiaries. Because Aduhelm is not a cure for Alzheimer's disease, patients could incur these annual out-of-cost pockets over multiple years. So if you're Biogen, everyone, it's a great deal, right? You've created a drug that people are desperate for, even just to slow down the rate, just the possibility of slowing down Alzheimer's disease. People would flock to the drug for. And it isn't going to bankrupt Medicare, but with so many people getting older and Alzheimer's becoming more and more prevalent in the country, well, more people. It isn't like there's going to be an expanded percentage of people, but there's going to be an expanded percentage of people who are older who are going to have Alzheimer's. There'll be quite a need for this drug, or a perceived need for the drug. That's what it is, a perceived need. Paul Camish, I saw your comment. You made that video, huh? So if you aren't, I'm switching gears, by the way. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat and anyone who's watching, because if you can keep up with my ADHD brain as I bop back and forth from crappy joke to news story to another crappy joke to let me tell you something about historical context about William Tecumseh Sherman, and then going back to the chat back and forth like this, switching gears very quickly. Thank you very much. Thank you for being able to do that, to stay with me as I go through this insanity. Paul Camish. All right, so for those of you who weren't here last week, Paul Camish pranked a conspiracy theorist. He showed the video on the after party after show, and Paul did a spot. It was perfect, to tell you the truth. I actually looked for the video. I think it was on Saturday, but I didn't see it. But Paul said he just did the video clip, and so yeah, I'm gonna post it on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief. Wanted to get Paul, more exposure, because Paul's a good guy and everything. And that video is not only funny, but it is so instructive about how quickly you can debunk crazy conspiracy theories. James Henry, a drug without proving efficacy of anything. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. It's a drug without proving it actually does the thing it's supposed to do. Dr. Mordecai says, me and drugs have a thing going on. Good for you. Oh, yeah, Rage says, Paul Camish, I saw it. Great work. I might have to highlight it on my channel. Yeah. Good work, Paul, once again. And I have to tell you something. If you have something interesting from your own channels, right? And interesting means that, something like what Paul did in terms of pranking a conspiracy theorist, then you can always contact me. And if it's right for my blog, I'll put it up on my blog, right? I'd be happy to do that and help, anyone out. Hey, B. So B, I should say that I'm going to be on B's channel tonight. I don't know if this is going to be a live show, B. I just know that I'm showing up at your channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to have a conversation. That's what I know. All right. Well, James Henry, the Hippocratic Oath means nothing when there's capitalism involved. When there's out of control capitalism, the Hippocratic Oath doesn't. Yeah. And that's the issue for us, isn't it? The issue is creating a system where good behavior is incentivized as against to bad behavior being incentivized. All right. Violin lesson. Good for you, Jessi Bear. My kids, not the most musical people in the world, but they try. All right. So what's the next thing? What's the next story? Mike, oh, Jesus. Let's do this video about COVID, lunatics, the courts. Let's just do this video, right? It's worth seeing. All right, watch me hit some buttons with my monkey fists here. All right, I hit the share button right there. All right, and now I do that.
About this condition. And in the first ruling of its kind, a federal judge in Houston dismissing a lawsuit by a group of hospital employees who were fighting their employer's vaccine mandate. That as the U.S. is approaching another grim milestone. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, the first federal ruling on vaccine mandates. A Texas judge dismissing the lawsuit from a small percentage of employees with the Houston Methodist Hospital system who are resisting the company's mandatory vaccine policy.
We have a sacred obligation to keep our patients safe. Every hospital on the planet should be doing this.
The employee's attorney saying in a statement, this is just one battle in a larger war to protect the rights of employees, and we will be appealing. Tomorrow marks 6 months since the first shot, and the U.S. is now on track to get 67% of adults at least one dose by the 4th of July, missing the president's goal of 70% if the pace doesn't pick up.
I still think we need to vaccinate another 80 to 100 million people to get to the kind of levels of population immunity.
In amplifying the threat to those who hesitate, the growing presence of the highly transmissible Delta variant.
The Delta variant is by far the most contagious variant of this virus we have seen in the entire pandemic. If you've been fully vaccinated, you remain protected.
And tonight, the nation on the precipice of 600,000 Americans killed by COVID-19. Michelle Preisler lost her husband, Daryl, last month.
No, it's not over. And there are plenty of people with COVID in the hospital, very sick and dying still.
A reminder that death toll is still mounting. Trevor Ault joins us from outside an emergency room in New York. And Trevor, this week the CDC has scheduled a meeting about reports of heart inflammation in a small number of young people who are vaccinated. What are they saying about this condition?
Well, Lindsay, the CDC says there's been more than 200 of these cases confirmed in people under 30 who got the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. Now, this condition is treatable. It's usually temporary, but this advisory panel will be analyzing whether these cases are in fact linked to the vaccines. Lindsay?
Trevor, thanks so much.
Did I hit the wrong button, everyone? I think this is the first time I've just completely kicked myself off the stream by mistake. But yes, I did just kick myself off the stream, but now I'm back, right? Better than ever. I don't know about that. Girlfriend points out here, pharmaceutical companies do not have to take the Hippocratic Oath. That's an interesting point to make. Interesting. So B says, yes, the live show is live. The live show is live tonight, everyone, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on B's channel. I'm going to be showing up. We're going to, have a conversation. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be entertaining. I think B was going to be able to carry me on this. But yeah, it'll be on B's channel, 8:30 tonight. Let's see. Oh, yes, John Hudson. People who refuse to get vaccines, who work in hospitals, they shouldn't be working in the medical profession. Yeah, all right. Houston, we lost contact. Yes, we did lose contact for a few seconds, and I had to make it all work. So here I am back again, everyone. Yeah, maybe companies or people, here's an idea. Individuals should be taking the Hippocratic Oath if you're working in the medical profession or if you're doing research in the medical profession. 1. 2, companies are not people. I know this is a radical idea, that companies are not people, but they shouldn't be treated like people legally. And 3, CEOs, C-suite kind of level of executives should be held personally responsible if they can be shown to be guilty of crimes that the company makes, that the company executes on. Is that radical? I don't think those are radical principles right there. All right. I know there's like some kind of football stuff going on, right? I know that there's whenever I look at the people are talking about soccer, football going on over there. I saw some stories. I saw some stories going on. All right, so what did we do? What did we cover today? Mike Lindell? We still have Mike Lindell to talk about. All right, let's talk about MyPillow CEO. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell played a speech by former President Trump during his latest political rally. Of course he did. Of course he did. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell's latest political rally featured a speech by former President Donald Trump in which he railed against voter fraud again. Trump delivered his comments via satellite. At the Saturday event, he repeated unfounded claims about fraud during the 2020 election and took aim at President Joe Biden's efforts to reverse his policies. Trump seemed to respond directly to Biden's administration announcement on Friday that it would pull more than $2 billion in funding Trump had diverted to pay for the wall along the southern border. In a wide-ranging speech, that means it's Mike Lindell, and he's just going to talk about anything that the angels tell him or the voices tell him. Lindell slipped back and forth between his support for the former president and unfounded claims that the 2020 election had been rigged. Did you hear about the voting machines that were attacked by China? Did you hear about it? He said. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey and Georgia Governor Brian Kemp shouldn't have certified the voting results in their states. He took aim at Fox News and Newsmax, calling them cowards, saying that it was disgusting what they've done to the country, as Newsweek first reported. Newsmax anchor Bob Sellers in February had stopped Lindell from repeating claims about voting machines. Now, the reason why they stopped Mike Lindell is because these organizations, Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, are getting sued by Dominion voting systems. That's why. Like, getting $1 billion lawsuit will make you be a little bit more reasonable. From repeating claims about voting machines being tampered during the election. Mike, you're talking about machines. That we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those kind of allegations, Sellers said on the air. We're fighting for our First Amendment rights of free speech, Lindell said on Saturday. He's fighting for the right to lie. That's what Mike Lindell is. It was funny. I don't know if any of you saw any of Mike Lindell's video, but about his rally. But once Citizen Trump's speech was done, people just left. It was as if, they just came here to see Citizen Trump, talking his crazy lies. And then Mike Lindell comes back on the stage and people just left. No one's there to see him. Everyone was there to see their messiah, their Republican messiah, Citizen Trump. Wow, brutal, but somewhat true, to tell you the truth, Paul Cammers. The American football is rugby with padding. Yeah. I can kind of get behind that statement. Oh, this is interesting. Simply Secular Dave. Wait until the doctors in the USA figure out that incorporating will protect them from lawsuits and price protection. Welcome to Dr. Smith Incorporated. Please sign your waiver, swipe your credit card, and take a seat. I like that. I hate it. That's what I mean. Well, that's a good observation, Dave. All right. Well, yes, Mike Lindell, you see it so often with evangelicals, right? You see it so often with Christian zealots, right? That they run their lives into the gutter. They find Jesus, and then they want to ruin it for everybody else. And that's a case of Mr. Mike Lindell, a self-professed drug user in recovery. And then he actually said on stage, I'm a former crack addict. It's like, maybe that affected your brain. It's like Bush the Younger. No, Bush the Younger? Yes, W. He burned his brains out on drug and alcohol. Republicans made him president. And he just helped destroy the country. All right. What did we cover today, everyone? What did we cover? The $350,000 settlement in Savannah, Georgia. A possible Citizens Oversight Commission for the police department. Perv Pastor in Florida. Checking out little boys. Drugs and Alzheimer's drugs that could cost $11,500 a year, and it may not even work. Mike Lindell being Mike Lindell. And of course, the video of health professionals in a hospital suing for their right not to get the vaccine. Crazy. You want to do something funny? You want to do something funny before we end the show? Let's do that.
Say your name and tell us where we're at.
Hi, I'm Brian Carlson. We're here at Applebee's. Never thought I'd say that. Me and the missus have been praying for a long time that we get one of these fine establishments here in our little speck of the map. You could say there's quite a bit of buzz around here. After the supper club shut down, we had nowhere to hold our wedding receptions, funeral wakes, or banquet dinners. Applebee's has fixed all that. And by fix, I mean they've been crushing it. It's all thanks to that new mayor we voted in last year. Couldn't be happier with them.
Next question is, did you hear that we're gonna get a Buffalo Wild Wings?
What was that?
Buffalo Wild Wings is coming to town.
That's a good one.
No, it is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Where did you hear that? Honey, did you hear that? Oh, God. I gotta sit down. Is this for real? I gotta talk to that new mayor. This is too much change.
Hey, Brian. Everything all right?
Bad news, Jerry. That new hotshot mayor that we voted in wants to bring a Buffalo Wild Wings to town.
Are you serious? I'm barely getting used to the Applebee's. This is too much change.
I know.
There's more than a bit of truth in that, everyone. More than a bit of truth in that. All right. I think we covered everything today, everyone. What did I talk about the after party after show? I didn't even mention that. In the last 47 minutes, I didn't mention that we're doing an open room. An open room is where, if you're just tuning in, if you're new here, you can join in the conversation. It's going to be an open panel. People are going to be talking about atheism, progressive politics. We cover a wide range of topics. The link to get into the backstage is in the description. It's the next video up on this channel. It starts at 10 a.m. I'm looking forward to it. I've only had one cup of coffee. You could probably tell. I've only a gun mug. I have a gun mug. I've only had one cup of coffee. I'm going to run downstairs and make myself a second cup of coffee because I woke up late today. And I need a second cup of coffee for my brain juices to work right. Tesla Ranger, glad to see you here, Tesla. Too much change equals communism, and no one wants anything to curb out of control capitalism here in the States. Scott Duke, wow. Did you? I just hit the like button. Well, that is a ring. Thank you, everyone. Bo Burnham, I saw, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I mean, this is something we could talk about in the after party, after show, but I saw Bo Burnham's comedy special. I think it's called Inside. It's on Netflix. Wow. Wow. While Eden says, protest going on in London now. Anti-lockdown. Of course, it's an anti-lockdown process, protest. I'm sorry to hear that. John Hudson says, I ordered ribs at Applebee's, and one of the ribs was a basting brush. Man, yeah. I don't know the last time I've been in Applebee's. Years, decades, maybe? Maybe it's decades. All right, I'm going to close the show. I'm going to show the thank you video. Thank you for people who are supporting me on Patreon and who are YouTube members. Of course, when you contribute to the cause, it isn't just what I do here on this space, but it's also on the blog too, and vice versa. Yeah, thank you. So let's do the thank you video, and then I'll see you at 10.